Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Today, we're back at Philadelphia Country Club to talk about some history of Philadelphia golf. Joining us will be Pete Trenham. You know, Pete was an assistant pro here at Philadelphia Country Club back in the early 60s, and he's a noted golf historian. And Maury Stewart has been a longtime member here at Philadelphia Country Club. In fact, because of his relationship to the country club, he got tight with Byron Nelson, who won the U.S. Open in 1939 right here at Philly Country Club. Back with Pete and Maury from Philadelphia Country Club right here on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf, presented by PGN Plus. Play your golf bucket list. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life, and Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. And by the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf.
Along with being stewards of the game of golf, your local PGA professional wears many hats.
We are teachers.
We are players.
We are managers.
We are merchandisers.
And community leaders.
But we all wear one badge.
PGA professionals are well-trained experts who work hard to share the joy of golf with our neighbors for over 90 years. To find your local PGA professional, visit phillypga.com. Brought to you by the Philadelphia section of the PGA.
We are the experts in the game and business of golf.
The focus, the feel, the friends. Golf isn't just a game, it's an experience, and PGN Plus invites you to experience golf like never before. PGN Plus provides golfers with access to the area's exclusive private courses, and for existing country club members, PGN Plus enhances your membership with intra-club reciprocal play. Select your course, book your tee time, and play the best private clubs the area has to offer. Create your free account today. Visit pgnplus.com, your invitation to private golf.
Welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue, and today we're at Philadelphia Country Club with two gentlemen who are going to share a lot of history about not only Philadelphia Country Club, but Philadelphia golf in general. To my immediate right is Maury Stewart. Maury, longtime member here at Philadelphia Country Club, an executive consultant, though, with Penn Mutual, known around the world for what you've done for that company, Maury, and also known around the world maybe for your golf. We'll find out. And of course, no stranger to Inside Golf is Pete Trenham. Pete, with longtime head professional at St. David's, and back in the day was even an assistant here at Philadelphia Country Club. And he's also a Philadelphia golf historian, and he has his own website to prove it. Gentlemen, let's talk about Maury. First of all, you had the occasion to come in contact with Byron Nelson when the club here celebrated its centennial, because Byron is a big part of the history of Philadelphia Country Club. He won the U.S. Open here in 1939. Tell us about your relationship to Mr. Nelson.
Well, I knew a lady that he had gone through high school and grade school in Texas, Mary, and I learned about him through her. And of course, I'd heard about him winning the 1939 Open here. And in 1990, we had our centennial, our 100th anniversary. So we invited Byron to come up, and Byron and Peg. And they graciously did. They were here for 3 or 4 days, had a wonderful time. I don't think there's anyone here that loved anyone more than Byron Nelson. He was a consummate gentleman. And then several years later, I took a group of our salespeople to the Las Colinas, the Four Seasons Hotel.
Down in Dallas.
In Dallas.
Right.
And I think we had about 6 foursomes, and we all came in about the same time, and we were milling around, and they had this beautiful statue of Byron Nelson out there in the courtyard. And Byron happened to walk into the pro shop at that time, and I didn't figure he would recognize me. And he walked right over and he said, "Maury Stewart, how are you?" And I said, "Mr. Nelson, how can you remember that?" He said, "Well, we spent 3 or 4 days together, and you knew Mary." And so naturally the guys were all golfers, and they kept milling around, and he said, "Would they like to have their picture taken?" He said, I said, they'd love to. And he said, I said, "Let's get a group together." He said, "Well, let's have a group picture." But he said, "If they want them individually with me, that's fine."
Right.
So that took quite a bit of time. You know, I think there were 6 foursomes and 24 guys.
And of course, he did it gratis. There was no fee involved.
I got done, and I reached in my pocket, and I pulled out X amount of money, and I gave it to him, and he handed it back, and he said, "I can't take that for all the hospitality I had in Philadelphia."
How about that? And Pete, take us back to that championship here. Of course, the golf course was a little bit different. The main competitors were Byron Nelson and Sam Snead, and Snead had the thing won, but somebody gave him some bad info on the 18th hole, right?
Well, there's all sorts of stories over the years, you know, about Ed Dudley was the pro here, and he was paired with him, and he said he told him what he needed to win, you know, that a par would win, and Snead said nobody told him. Maybe, you know, sometimes in the heat of battle, you know, you don't pay attention, you don't hear what's going on or whatever. So anyway, he thought he needed to make a birdie. And interesting enough, Byron Nelson was the pro at Reading Country Club at the time, 1939, and which is not far from here. But in those days, it wasn't that much money in golf, and everybody playing the tour had a job other than a tour of some sort. So anyway, he wound up, well, we'll go through it blow by blow, but he wound up making an 8. He got in some trouble. He made a risky shot trying to get out of trouble, got into more trouble, and then in the end he missed a short putt that didn't make any difference, you know, so he lost by a couple of shots.
Yeah, and Byron had the Open. When Byron was here, Maury, was he still able to play golf? Did he go out on the golf course at all?
He was out on the golf course, and on the 17th hole, which is our number 1 hole, it's a beautiful dog leg right. And there is a plaque in the 17th tee, and there's a plaque up in the fairway where he hit his drive to, and he took a 1-iron out and sank it. So he had the eagle on the 17th hole with a 1-iron. So if my memory is correct, when we came through there, one of the guys said to Mr. Nelson, he said, "Do you still think you could put it in from here?" And he said, I doubt it seriously, but he said, "I think I could hit the green." And he was going to have a hip replacement in 2 months or something like that.
Wow.
I think it was a 4-wood, took a 4-wood out and put it within 3 feet of the pin.
And made the putt probably.
Yes.
And you witnessed it, huh?
Yes.
That's an amazing, amazing story. So a plaque here at Philadelphia Country Club to recall Byron Nelson, and then not far away, of course, at Murren, we have the plaque in the middle of the 18th green. A guy he used to caddy with when they were teenagers in Fort Worth by the name of Ben Hogan. It's amazing. Talk about just 6 degrees of separation, and it also includes Philadelphia. Yeah, amazing story. We'll be back to talk more with these gentlemen. Maury, about the relationship he has developed over the years with Davis Love III. Pete Trenham will be back with us as well. More to come here on Inside Golf.
You know, golf course superintendents are the unsung heroes of our great game.
Thanks to the game's efforts,
we now have turf that needs less water
and is more sustainable
and offers natural wildlife habitats on our courses.
If you love golf like I do,
like
what I do,
thank a golf course superintendent.
Thank a golf course superintendent.
Do thank your golf course superintendent.
Thank a golf course superintendent.
A message from the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. We're here at Philadelphia Country Club with Maury Stewart, longtime member of Philadelphia Country Club, executive consultant of Penn Mutual, and Pete Trenham, Philadelphia golf historian and pro emeritus at nearby St. David's. Maury, let's talk about another famous golfer, not Byron Nelson, who we talked about in the first segment, but Davis Love III. In fact, you knew both his father, the late Davis Love, and now Davis Love III, of course, who has gone on to carve out a great career, will be the Ryder Cup captain. How did that relationship begin?
We had a place called Amelia Island off of Jacksonville for many years, and Steve Melnick lived there, who was a great golfer and an announcer in those days. And Steve introduced me to Davis's father, and Davis was, I forget how old he was, but he could play, but he was small. And then, of course, his dad was killed in a plane crash in Jackson, going into Jacksonville. And I had an opportunity to, we were at Sea Island at the Cloisters, and had an opportunity to see Davis Love there, and we kind of rekindled a bit. But I haven't seen him since then, but what a fine gentleman from everything I hear from other people that know him.
You never had him here at Philadelphia Country Club, huh? Well, that would be a great, maybe you can get him up here.
I'll try.
And put a little demonstration on and talk about the Ryder Cup, because Inside Golf would love you're our inside man on Davis Love III. His father, we talked about, who was tragically killed in a plane crash not that long ago, really, Pete. He was a well-known teacher, wasn't he?
Yes, and he was a very good player, too. Not quite good enough to make a living on the PGA Tour, but he had some high finishes, and but he got more into golf instruction. You know, and was making quite a name for himself.
Maury also mentioned the name of Steve Melnick. Now, I know you're a proud alum of the University of Florida. In fact, one of your teammates there was none other than Doug Sanders. Right. Steve Melnick came along a little bit after you, but he had quite a career in Florida, and also an amateur and as a pro.
He had a great career, and he was I guess you'd say it was a disappointment. His pro career was a disappointment based on all the success he had as an amateur. You know, he won the U.S. Amateur and the British Amateur, and it just somehow it didn't quite work out. And,
another name that you two fellows share, both here at Philadelphia Country Club, because Pete was an assistant pro in the early 60s at Philadelphia Country Club before going on to St. David's, and you knew him when he was a head pro here, is Tim DeBoffrey. First of all, your relationship, of course, goes way back with Tim. You lived together. We're in the old clubhouse here.
Yeah, Tim and I started here in 1962 as assistants, and lived over in the old clubhouse on the other side of the course. And so it was he's a wonderful person. It was a great experience being here, you know, at the Country Club for 4 years.
And he was one of the better in the Philadelphia section. He won a few events.
He did win. He won the Philadelphia Open along with quite a few other tournaments.
Right. And what about your history with Tim?
Tim DeBoffrey, to me, is one of the great gentlemen of golf. He's just a gentleman personified, and I think he gave up on giving me lessons. I was never that good, but he always was. I don't know, he was just one of those people that you like to take a lesson with, and he's one of those people you just like to see. And in all of the years that he was here, I don't know, I just don't know of anyone that didn't have a tremendous amount of respect for him. He's still here. I just saw him the other day. Looks great.
Yeah, he's a great ambassador to golf in Philadelphia, and in particular where he's worked, such as Philadelphia Country Club. Before we close, I'd like to get, because Maury, you had a chance to come up close and personal with Sam Snead, the late slammer, and it happened at a resort, and maybe you can tell us about that experience. You had some Penn Mutual people down in West Virginia.
It was a group from Sun Life of Canada was running that company at that time, but it doesn't matter. We had about the same number of people there, but I hired Sam to put on a clinic. And one of the things that was interesting was that he drew circles out there. One was 165 yards, 185 yards. One was 200 yards or something like that. And his clinic, the way he hit that ball and put it in the middle of those circles was absolutely amazing. But he's a character.
Yes,
I mean, he liked to bet on everything. We were sitting in the bar waiting to go out to do the clinic. And Tiger Woods was young, was playing that day. And I asked him, I said, what do you think of this young guy? He said, boy, he can sure hit the ball, but he won't last. He said his back won't last until he's 40. And it's kind of interesting because of all the back problems that he has had. But Sam Snead was always noted for being double jointed, I guess you would call it, stand flat-footed and be able to kick the ceiling or kick the door jamb.
And he was not exactly a small man either.
No,
right?
He was
well over 6 foot.
Yeah, But the manager of the Greenbrier, that's where we were, said, no, don't do that because he's going to fall on his, you know what, one of these days and sue us.
Any Pete Trenham, Sam Snead encounters?
Well, my first year here as an assistant in 1962, we had a televised event for All-Star Golf, and Sam Snead played Bob Golby. They brought Snead back because of his experience with losing the 1939 U.S. Open here, and Golby was a young up-and-coming player on the tour. So the day before, Sam, they both came for a practice round, so our boss Loma Frakes sent Tim DeBoffrey out to play a practice round with Sam Snead. It just happens that Sam Snead's driver was made by George Izett here in Philadelphia.
Over on Haverford.
Yes,
yeah.
who was still in business. And he was on the tour, and Henry Pickard, who was a pro at Hershey, had an Izett driver, an extra driver, and he gave it to Snead to try, and it worked. So Wilson, who Snead represented, sent the driver to George Izett, I guess in the off season, and with a sole plate and a decal, and had George change the sole plate on the bottom of the club and change the decal. So
it looked like a Wilson club.
It looked like a Wilson club. It was a George Izett driver with Wilson finish, you know, decal and all that. And so anyway, in '62, when Tim went out to play a practice round with Sam Snead, they were on the second tee, and Sam Snead said to Tim, he said, "Let me see your driver." And he looked at it and he said, He looked, and he handed Tim his driver, and he said, "Same club, different name," he said.
A little more money went in Sam's pocket too from carrying that Wilson club. How'd they do? Did they have a little match, I wonder?
No, I don't know. I don't think Steve.
We'll have to get Tim on the show to tell us about how that all turned out.
That's right.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Thanks, Maury.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll be back. More Inside Golf coming up in just a moment.
At Valley Forge Casino Resort, we're rolling out the action and bringing it all to the table. So go all in at Philadelphia's New Year's Eve destination. Make your New Year's plans. Third Eye Blind rocks in the new year. The Vault all-inclusive party with hot tea. Dinner by Luke Palladino at LP Steak. Tickets and packages available at vfcasino.com. Valley Forge Casino Resort, the only Philly area casino that has it all.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues now with Teed Off, and our panel today is coming to you from the beautiful Valley Forge Casino Resort in King of Prussia. Great food, entertainment, and of course plenty of games on the floor here at the casino at Valley Forge. With us today, Bob Shepard's back, longtime Philadelphia area professional and an author, and I don't know, what else you got on your resume you can tell us about? Well,
professional aficionado.
Yeah, aficionado.
There you go.
Golf ambassador. Jeff Surrett is the executive director of the Philadelphia section of the PGA of America. And Joe Logan, no stranger to Teed Off, is here with his little blog, myphillygolf.com. Talk about Philly golf, Jeff. You just completed a very successful, I think, and I'm sure you do too, year in the Philadelphia section. I mean, it wrapped up with about as exciting sectional championship as we could have seen.
Yeah, it got, I think, got a little more exciting than anybody, especially Dave McNabb wanted it to. So thank you to you and Ken for coming out and covering the championship. It was a great event, Fieldstone and Concord. But no, Dave had a great season. We had our first $100,000 winner in Josh Rackley in the Haverford Trust Philadelphia PGA Classic at Sunnybrook.
And that went to a playoff as well.
That went to a playoff as well with him and Jamie Komenchek. And, our junior tour is up over 870 young men and women playing on our junior tour. We had 9 drive, chip, and putt qualifiers. We had a couple sub-regionals. Our PGA Junior League went through the roof this year. We had 90 teams throughout the section. So I would say from, on all facets, whether it was playing or growing the game, whether it was junior golf or helping grow our foundation, it was a really successful year.
Bobby, you played, of course, a lot of events in the section championships, I'm sure. How have you seen it grown over your years?
It's amazing. It's a whole different game now. It has just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was talking to Jeff about it earlier. there's so many young fellows that really, really want to play. They're not doing this as extracurricular. They're really playing golf, and they're playing great. I mean, we got a lot of good players in Philadelphia. Not saying anything about the past, just saying the future looks very rosy. We got the thing under control, I think, and the purse is reflected. I mean, they're offering some great money now. There's a lot of good players that have the interest to play because they can take the time off from work and still, make a living out of it,
You know, we talked about some of the younger players coming up, but I look at a couple guys in particular who played at the Philadelphia Cricket Club this year in the Pro National Championship and qualified already for next year based on their finish in the sectional championship. George Forster from Radnor Valley and Stu Ingram. Stu, I think next year, that's going to be like his 35th PGA championship.
Wow, that's something.
That's quite a number, Bob, coming out of just, not being a touring pro.
Well, Stu actually was a tour pro
at
one point. And George Forster's been a very good player for a very long time. Both of them now over 50 and still playing very well. I mean, you see them in the regular tournaments, not just senior events. They're always up there. They're always doing well. And like Jeff said, Dave McNabb's having a year. He's had a couple of years that are out of his world.
Well, he's played in 2 PGA championships in the last 3 years, which is fantastic. So.
Right. And you mentioned the Haverford event won by Josh Rackley, who is a newcomer to the area, right? He's originally from down south, I think.
Yeah.
College Golf.
NC State.
He's at Gulf Mills.
He's Gulf Mills.
And he has aspirations, but I think you were talking to him about that. I mean, you know how tough it is. It's one thing to win at Sunnybrook one year and then try to take it to that next level.
I'm sure that was a great test for Josh, as the litmus test of the nerves, standing over a $95,000 putt. But Bob and I were talking about it earlier. I think just the lifestyle on the tour, having to go from week to week and living like a gypsy, living out of a suitcase, let alone playing really good golf, for 72 holes. We have some of the best players in the country in the PGA, and right now there's a reason that they're not on the tour, and generally it's not because they're not great golfers. It's that extra something, and Joe could probably put a better term on it, than that. But our guys are some of the best in the country, and they can come out and shoot 64 as quick as anybody else. But doing that over 72 holes, week to week at different venues, it's quite a test, and a testament to those folks on the PGA Tour that do it week in and week out, how great they really are.
Right. And your sponsor list looks like it continues to grow.
I can't thank our sponsors enough. Obviously, you are great partners of ours to give us a medium that we really, generally don't get. So, thank you to you and Ken, and the list of our list of sponsors is about 25 or 30 deep, and I'd be doing injustice to name one and not all 30 of them. But we couldn't put on the programs and the events that we do without their help. So, thank you on behalf of all almost 900, PGA members here in the Philadelphia section for the support they give us year in and year out.
And Joe, I don't know maybe you have a better handle on this than I do, but in terms of other sections, where does the Philadelphia section stand?
Is.
Do you want me to answer that for you?
I'd love for Jeff to answer it, but
go ahead.
We'll get a nonpartisan viewpoint from Joe Logan here.
There are, of all the PGA sections in America, one is named for a city, Philadelphia.
Oh, I love it.
Really?
Yes, there's like the Carolinas, the Southern California, the North Florida, all of that. One is named for a city. Now, New York is the Met, but it goes by the Met, whereas Philadelphia goes by Philadelphia. It is the only one. And I remember playing once with a young assistant pro who had just moved to Philadelphia from Florida. And we were playing around somewhere, and I said, don't you miss the competitive golf in Florida? You must have a lot of really good club pros down there. And he said, it's better here. The better players here. I was very surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
But, the proof is in the pudding. Week in and week out, there's some very good players in this section playing a lot of golf.
Well, and Jeff, you could have sent it any better, could you? Than what he did in describing.
I could have sent it a little bit better, but it was good. That was really good.
Self-promotion.
You're right.
Jeff Surratt from the Philadelphia. See the information you get around. Can't get that anywhere else, folks. Cannot get that anywhere else. And Joe Logan, and we'll be back with Inside Golf in just a moment.
The Valley Forge Casino Resort is the region's only full amenity gaming resort. And it's only seconds from the Pennsylvania Turnpike at King of Prussia. It features 600 slots, 50 table games, and there are nearly 500 guest rooms, plus 8 restaurants designed to meet all of your dining needs. So put the beautiful Valley Forge Casino Resort on your destination list. Here to talk about Valley Forge Casino Resort's newest hotspot for live local entertainment is Jennifer Gailey, Chief Marketing Officer.
The Vault is a brand new bar and entertainment venue that we just opened at Valley Forge Casino Resort. We're really focusing all on entertainment in this space. We like to have something for everybody. So Fridays you can see great DJs, and Saturdays we're bringing in local bands. So while you're here, you can also enjoy our list of great craft cocktails. We do them, individual or also in large format crafts, which are great to share with the group. And then we have a great selection of craft beers on tap as well. So we have something for everyone, but it's all about great local entertainment that you can really experience while you're here at the Vault.
Seek out this hidden gem for the best live and local entertainment every Friday and Saturday night, only at Valley Forge Casino Resort.
At Valley Forge Casino Resort, we're rolling out the action and bringing it all to the table. So go all in at Philadelphia's New Year's Eve destination. Make your New Year's plans. Third Eye Blind rocks in the new year. The Vault all-inclusive party with hot tea. Dinner by Luke Palladino at LP Steak. Tickets and packages available at vfcasino.com. Valley Forge Casino Resort, the only Philly area casino that has it all.
Along with being stewards of the game of golf, your local PGA professional wears many hats.
We are teachers.
We are players.
We are managers.
We are merchandisers.
And community leaders.
But we all wear one badge.
PGA professionals are well-trained experts who work hard to share the joy of golf with our neighbors for over 90 years. To find your local PGA professional, visit phillypga.com. Brought to you by the Philadelphia section of the PGA.
We are the experts in the game and business of golf.
The focus, the feel, the friends. Golf isn't just a game, it's an experience, and PGN Plus invites you to experience golf like never before. PGN Plus provides golfers with access to the area's exclusive private courses, and for existing country club members, PGN Plus enhances your membership with intra-club reciprocal play. Select your course, book your tee time, and play the best private clubs the area has to offer. Create your free account today. Visit pgnplus.com, your invitation to private golf.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf from Philadelphia Country Club. Our thanks to Pete Trenham and Amari Stewart for their stories about Philly Country Club and also the likes of Sam Snead and the great Byron Nelson. I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. See you next time right here on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf, presented by PGN Plus. Play your golf bucket list. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life, and Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. And by the Philadelphia section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf.